Here we go again.
I know. It's like the dump still lives, you know?
It does. Doopy-doo.
That was pathetic.
You know, I couldn't get used to doing it even when Matt tried to school me.
Yeah, Mad couldn't get it on time either. He wasn't bad.
But he tried. A lot of energy in him, you know, like doopy-doo. A lot of energy.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, what? Yeah, a lot of energy. Energy.
Charisma.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. When I think Mad, I think sincere and charismatic and never been blown up.
I don't mess with a man who's been on fire and survived. I just don't do that.
No, that's true. That's true.
Thanks, Thunderbird.
That's good. Those are words to live by. Enjoy the silence. Here we go. God, I hate that opening. Sorry, everybody. We got to do it the other way because I just hate that opening. It starts too joyous. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this one reminds me of the dark night of my soul. So thank you.
I like this. Yeah, this is the real show once I got rid of you, Biggles. I love you.
This feels like my healing journey, Scott.
Aluminum Spork.
Aluminum Spork. What is up, everybody? It is Aluminum Spork. Sorry for that start there, Jet. Yeah, this is not professional, but we try. Thank you for being here. And also, I would love to hear you do a guitar solo to that over on Rumble, which I love to see. We need to get Rumble pumping. That's Cheesy Good 269. Cheesy Good. Cheesy
G. Cheesy G.
I get it. Anywho, love you. We are here tonight. We're going to be talking about multiple things. David Grusch, I guess, it's from a tweet I saw, so take it with a grain of salt. But I guess he had some closed door meeting with, for some reason, Wall Street bigwigs. And that's the money, I guess, and some CIA officials where he was talking about, yes, we do have UAPs. He has been in one. Pretty interesting what they say about like going into it, how it changes. We'll get into that. There's this Mojave Desert one that I saw the guys over on, oh God, what's the guy's name? Jeremy with the beard. He does a lot of UFO stuff with George, weaponized. Okay. This Mojave Desert UFO. Why don't we look at that first, actually?
Okay.
We're also going to talk about a new handbook for police safety risks of UFOs, and images of a UFO shot down by U.S. fighters over Canadian airspace. So we'll take a look at that too. So this is, I'll show what they had over on Weaponized. Let me get this up here, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Oh, Grant's here. Good. I was worried that you weren't going to come. Yellow, buddy. So this is the image over, that was someone must have took off of Weaponized. If you can, okay, let's scroll up, scroll over maybe. There it is. So to me, that looks like a triangle, but not maybe in formation flying objects, maybe not one object, but it does. I mean, if you look at like here, you can kind of see that it might be dark shadowing. Yeah, so it could be one object. So that there looks pretty interesting to me. But then you see, then someone showed this picture, that they're trying to say is this Mojave Desert one, which doesn't. Now you see this one, white lights, right? Just white lights. And then you see this one, and they're trying to say, okay, that's not it. Let's try that again.
Good comparison.
Yeah, I know it's a lot smaller. No, this one. There we go. Now they're trying to say it's this. Now this is on the ground. So
yeah, that's completely different. The other one was in the sky. That can't be the same thing.
No.
Yeah.
So then they try to say, see, it's one of these here. It's just an Air Force or Army helicopter, hopefully from Sikorsky, I would hope. They're trying to say it's this. That is not the same thing. You don't even have nearly enough lighting on this thing. So I love when people do that type of stuff. Like they try to.
Are they trolling? Why are they still lying? I don't understand.
Because they think they can get away with it. You know?
I think they're putting a spell on people. You did not see, or wasn't that Star Wars thing? These aren't the.
Yeah, these aren't the droids you're looking for. But that to me, I mean, you could actually, like, at least I could see it easier than you guys though, but you could see the darkening right here where like under and next to this light, it's dark. So that is either one object. You can almost see like a shape right there of the triangle. Many times these triangles look like one object and all of a sudden they break apart and alien or, sometimes interdimensional species, if they're able to get here, they're going to be able to do shit like that. Like have one, one object be able to break apart. What do you guys think?
Could you zoom in on the inside of the vehicle or whatever it is that they're looking at? Like are they in a car or? No. On this video, on this picture.
On this one, I think
they're the other side of the helicopter.
Yeah. What's that on the left? What's on the left hand side?
What, this over here?
Why is it at an angle?
I don't know. I think it's just the way the picture is. Here, let me try to find a better one. I think someone just took here. This is probably a better one. God, I love Reddit. They got it. So this is supposed to be the same one. This is the Mojave Triangle. Here, I'll read it after I put it up. So this right here, that is the Mojave Triangle UAP, different power pole considering the photos are not, what? The Mojave Triangle UAP, different power pole considering the photos are not taken from what? I'll check the post on this other one. Okay, that's it. What this person's trying to say is this right here is the actual picture. So the person's trying to say this is a different power pole. I guess they care about that.
Okay.
Considering the photos are not taken. I don't know.
If it means it's a different power pole, it means it's shot at a different location or a different angle.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think the only thing they're saying is because this one, there's some wire coming down here to anchor the pole.
Even
the
orientation. The orientation of the thing. So it's two different pictures.
They're taking it from the other direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is facing that way and the other one's facing this way. So it would be
the lights
different.
look more balanced in this bottom image.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's probably a better angle. Yeah.
It looks like it's coming at us from here. Also, I mean, if you look at the mountains though, do they line up? Not really. Yeah, it's close right here.
I mean, not
right
bad,
here. Yeah, right here. And then you go up here and it's the same right there.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a butt crack up at the top.
If
a woman's laying down, and then there you go.
Wow, you are a perverted lady. I was thinking of something. I was going to go so wrong with that, but we're still on YouTube at the moment. We are on YouTube at the moment. The truth is out there. Or the truth. Oh, wait a minute. The spork is out there. Get it? Okay, I'll go back to you guys. Let's see what some people are saying. You flood the field with noise so the false positive take attention away from the true positives. Obviously, yeah. You flood it with different images, different sightings, people that were there, this UAP cover up, UAP false, what do they call it? Oh God, I'm blanking. When they do a cover up of like a
False
UFO,
flag.
not a false flag, but it's almost like a whole thing, like the whole philosophy of it. It's like I'll think of it.
Use your words.
I can't tonight, dude. I was telling Steven, I've been running around all day like a madman. I'm barely awake. Yeah. But disinformation is the best word to use. Thank you, sir. God, I love One Man Show.
Thank you, One Man Show.
Always gives it to you. And sometimes you don't want it, but he does. But I gotta say, this photo right here is pretty interesting.
It is.
I mean, could it be one of ours?
Where's the other photos? Well, I assumed if you take one photo, you wouldn't just take one photo.
Right.
Right.
Let's see. Let's view the post. Considering the photos are not taken from the same position, very hard to judge how much distance they dropped just putting it out there. So what is the actual claim on this? Because some people are saying, all right, so without going to the site and repeating the photos from those positions, it's a bit difficult to be so accurate as these debunkers seem to be. Just putting it out there, just look at the different orientations. Please reply to OP's comment here. So let's see what this person is. Something different completely. The photos were taken about 5 minutes apart, and the witness is on foot. The flares in the mountains are around 16 miles away on range 210. Lining up the distant mountain is sufficient, as that's where the flares and exercise are according to documentation. Oh, so people are trying to say this was an exercise by the government, and there was flares. These were flares. What? Those don't look like flares to me.
Well, yeah, everyone knows flares are like ducks. They like to fly in formation.
Exactly.
Y'all really love flares here. I like this person. Y'all believe whatever the debunker tells you. Look at the clouds. They're the same, just from a slight different angle. Look at the mountain. It's not the same pole. Yeah, of course. I guess there's a lot of people trying to debunk it, saying it was a military, and that's what I was trying to find out. If people are trying to say it was a military action of some sort. I'm sorry. That looks nothing like a military, like round, perfect circles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could fly in that. I get that.
Unless the stories of reverse engineering are true and they have created their own vehicles, like triangles, by this point.
Yeah.
I mean, in that way. But I think that there's so much disinformation out there, and has been for so long without any disclosure, that people are hyper attentive to debunking so that they can find actual proof. Like some
people, yeah. So if Drunk's still here, because sometimes he drops moves on, which I respect hugely, just even dropping by. But that is messed up that they're a third of the size they used to be. But I want to let you know, my daughter and I have been reading the first book. She freaking loves it, man. She's 10, loves that book. I mean, literally, like, I just finally cracked it out of like the packaging it came in, because I never have time. And oh, he is here. Okay, thank you. It is awesome, dude. She loves it. The artwork is great. It's such a perfect graphic novel. For her to read, she loves reading. So yeah, next week is green. I can't wait.
I bought 2 copies for the grandchildren. I don't have yet, of the kids who aren't even dating women yet, to make said grandchildren. So
give me 1 second. You guys keep talking.
Working on it for a while. Sure. He's going to go do what I was suggesting anyway. That's awesome. So when did you order them, Tina?
Oh, I ordered them when Jay first put them up as, part of the first sale. So
nice.
And I was very excited to get them. Can't wait for the next edition. I had the pleasure to read the story in novel form prior to it being converted to graphic novel, and it was equally as amazing in that form.
That's
too.
wonderful.
Totally loved it.
Yeah, Jay's been working on that for a long time. He put a lot of effort into that, and I know how excited he was for the release. And I'm happy for you, Jay. Congratulations, brother. I'm glad that you made that happen.
That is pretty cool. So, what were you guys doing today before we jumped on the stream? Fighting
Well,
for
I was
Nothing
difference, in
important.
other words?
Nothing important.
Nothing important?
Nope.
Okay.
nope, no
So I
Jay.
was gonna
He's
get the
back.
book, but she took it camping with her. So
Aw.
it's Jay's book, Blue. Yeah, dude. She loves it. I'm telling you. I love this magnet too. But yeah, it's Jay's book. He has Green coming out next week. So Jay, if you actually have the link, you want to throw it in there, I would love to share it.
Can you pronounce the name of the book though?
I'm not gonna try. No. Can you?
The Achromatic Chronicles.
The Chronicles, Blue. Yes. Not yet. Okay.
You wait until he does the Vietnamese edition.
Yeah, it's Vietnamese. I hate when I never knew I said that wrong until you guys pointed it out. Now I can't unhear it. It's messed up. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if to me, it looks, I mean, this helicopter they tried to show us, no way. That's
No.
the same thing. Flares. It's always the same old garbage they try to hand to you. The idea that you're stupid. Just, this is what we're going to feed you. It's a freaking balloon. Take it and run. You know,
Well, I mean, when you get used to selling the same story to the public over and over again, you just kind of get lazy. It creates a conditioning when you continue to lie or put out a smear or a story that isn't true over and over and over and over and over again. There becomes this like social pre-programming that happens when a specific subject comes up or a word or a person, then it just creates this automatic framework in people. And I think they've done the same thing with UFOs, UAPs for so long.
Yeah.
No matter how many have come forward with evidence or stories to the contrary. And like who put out that the picture of or said it was a helicopter? Who did that?
I can tell you, I just closed it out. Hold on. No, here it is. The blackvault.com is one of them. They really push, it might be a military site, so I'm not going to talk bad about it, but
BlackRock owns a lot of things.
Yeah, BlackRock does, like shooters. Getting in talking about like slowly brainwashing people. I was listening to Joe Rogan today. He was talking to a podcaster. If you're not like listening, like if you don't listen to podcasts a lot, but you listen to Joe Rogan, another one is Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan is a ex-military, just guy is awesome. I love how he interviews because he just sits back and lets the person talk. He does a lot of the disclosure stuff, but also, military stuff and other things. But Sean Ryan talked with Joe, and he talked about think about the first shooter when it came to that Trump rally in Butler. The kid was 20 years old. So for the last 8 years, they have been telling us he is a threat. He is dangerous. He is this. Democracy will end with him. So since that kid's been 12 years old on repeat in his brain, you say it enough over and over, people just start believing it, no matter if it's the truth or not,
Yeah, and depending on the type of hyperbole being said, in the age of social justice, they condition people. So to the point where they've been doing it for years, all you have to do is say Trump. And this framework in your mind automatically will disbelieve any information around that word because a narrative has already been installed. You've been conditioned to believe this box of lies or the way to view things. And which is one of the reasons why I don't watch the mainstream media anymore. But that you can dismiss, you can bring up a fact, you can bring up something horrible, or you can bring up something like factual about, I'm going to say Kamala Harris. And all you have to do is put Trump somewhere in the context, and everything that was said disappears. It's got to be a lie, or there's that evil orange man. And they have been doing this. It's a very effective smear campaign upon an individual. I mean, that has been worked over globally for, like you said, how many years now?
Yeah,
it's going to condition
global.
someone.
It is,
and it's coming from the same people that celebrated him until about the early 2010s. I mean, he and Donald Trump himself admitted it. He says he donated to the politicians that made his doing business for him easier and better.
Mm.
They had no
Mhm.
problem
Yeah.
taking his money.
He was their best friend.
Well, I mean, Tina, it's a group of people who all run the same narratives, protect the same lies, have the same agenda, paid by the same people.
And
Anyone
that's
who
going on both
goes
sides,
outside
though.
the box,
Both
on both
sides.
sides, absolutely. I believe in the uniparty, absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
But as soon as you step out of that lane, you become an other, and
Mhm.
you're a threat because will
Yep.
that other begin telling the truth? And it's that you can see this. I mean, not just in the political spheres, you can see it in entertainment, socially. Anybody uh, who decides to think differently or act differently than the herd,
Yeah.
and
Dude,
depending on
there
how
was
toxic that herd is, they will set about destroying your reputation.
right. There was like there was people outraged with the news that Keanu Reeves is going to be on the second season of Ancient Apocalypse with Graham Hancock. Outraged.
Mhm.
Keanu Reeves, one of the most beloved actors in the last decade. His resurgence has been massive. People love him, want to put him in everything. And he makes one appearance because as in the trailer, he says, as a kid, I always thought it was a little weird that, civilization is like this short period of a time and nothing before that. And now people want to like destroy him. Like
That's
the
strange.
It's
craziness
the
of,
most dangerous man on the planet, especially when
Yeah,
the dog's
that's true.
involved, dealing with the most dangerous documentary ever. It's a match made in
Yeah.
heaven.
Yeah. It's crazy how people have been programmed to quickly believe what they're being told and to attack who they're being told to attack. This group mentality, this keyboard warrior group mentality, it's all because like technology has given people this strength they don't have face to face. So now they can get it out on a keyboard and not fear any repercussions. Because some of the things people have said to you, Walton, or me, mostly you, like if they
Yeah,
said it
sorry
to
about
your
that, Walton.
face, yeah, if they said it to your face though, they might get a smack, and that's why they won't. But through streaming or just typing a post, yeah, they can say whatever they want because they don't fear repercussion. Um,
And
it's
there's comfort
crazy,
in
dude.
numbers too.
Yep.
All you need is that
Mm.
first person to, jump on, hop onto their keyboard and there'll be, 50,000 right behind them.
Yeah. I mean,
And
yeah, go ahead.
let's not forget about the types of the personality types out there who just love to sow chaos. They don't care
Mhm.
about one thing or another. They just love drama, want to see the Jerry Springer show, and just jump in on things.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it is.
Well, that show ended years ago. I mean, he's been dead for a few years, so
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's just the
Maury
no,
Povich is
keep
still
going,
around.
buddy. Scientists say Stephen Walton has always been real.
that is a lie. That is a lie. I'm a very, very heterosexual pagan man. All right, and there's
Pegging.
nothing goes up
He
my
always
ass. Near
has.
my no
Dude,
pegging.
why do you always have to
This is
talk
not
about pegging?
Pegging man? What does
Yeah,
that
I
mean?
don't
A
get it.
pegging man.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said pagan. That's what I
They
said.
sing like
That's what I
pirate
Pegging.
songs and
What?
Yeah.
Spell it in the private chat because I'm not. You got an accent.
Pagan.
And I'm doing it in capitals, right? That's
That's
what
it.
I said.
That's it.
Okay, what is it?
Yeah.
Peggin. Pagan. That's what I thought.
No, that's not what I wrote. Grant, read the
that's-
goddamn correct. What are you
That's
talking
it.
about?
That's exactly it. It's pretty pathetic. So this is the information on David Grusch, from Colin Rugg. He is co-owner of Trending Politics, I guess. A lot of
Bet
people
you that guy
follow
gets
him.
walked over all the time.
Yeah, right. Get it, Rugg. I got you. Former Air Force intelligence officer David Grusch reportedly held a top secret meeting with Wall Street bigwigs and CIA officials where he claimed his sources worked on a 40-foot UAP. The UAP was only 40 feet, but when they walked inside of it, it was the size of a football field, which is
Wow.
crazy.
Cool.
Yeah,
So it's
I
bigger
find
on the
that really
inside.
cool.
They're using
Yeah.
dimensional compression, which shouldn't technically exist.
The TARDIS. I was about to say that.
But that's kind of like it is. Yeah, it's Doctor Who, but it is. It's that they're walking in and or Harry Potter when they go into the tent. They're walking in and it's like it's a compact dimensional area. Like you actually probably are walking into a different dimension completely, because physics are just not being used, like physics
They're
out the
being bent.
window. I mean, you have to,
Physics
it
aren't
has to
being
be.
used. No, it's still physics. You just don't understand what physics it is.
That's
It's
true.
just
I'm a
yeah. If it's a
biologist.
different dimension, different dimensions will probably play by different rules of physics. It's still
Absolutely.
physics.
It is. I'm saying you would have to have it. That's what I meant to say. You would have to have a different dimension for physics to be correct. You can't walk into something that's 40 feet and all of a sudden it's the size of a football field inside.
Right. I
That
mean,
would be
I think
magic.
I think the fourth dimension is supposed to be time, so it's possible that the fifth dimension could be some reality universe type
Mhm.
concept
Maybe.
that would
Um,
facilitate that.
so what are all the dimensions? You got 1, 2, and 3. So you got, I know space is one of the first 3. Okay, we're really smart people. I think you're correct though on the time, but
Sorry, I was
you would have.
I was muted. Yeah. So you've got
I was gonna
they got
say.
time or space time as the fourth dimension. Like
Yep.
as I said, these are all theoretical because obviously being in 3 planes of existence, we can't do it. But it really depends on if you go into the philosophy of like the 10 dimensions of reality.
Mhm.
Like I think one of them. I'm trying to think what it was. I think it was the 8th dimension. It's a dimension of history, which doesn't make any sense because I would assume that would be time, but apparently
Yeah.
history and time are 2 different things. But yeah, like so time or space time. That's a big debate amongst a lot of people whether it's time or space time because they are 2 different things. One cannot exist without the other. But then again, if space does exist in a third dimension world,
Okay.
time would be the fourth one, and it would essentially be looking like how it's envisioned to us. It'd be like looking in a mirror but getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to see along any point in time.
Right.
So say because like say for instance at the moment I'm not seeing you as you are right now. I'm seeing how you were 400 milliseconds ago.
Right. Yeah. Nanoseconds.
And then it takes my brain X amount of time to process the visual stimulation and everything like that. So they say the fourth dimension cuts off that barrier and it's just pure. It's no longer perception. It's pure actual reality.
Okay.
But
I was going to say length, height, and width, but I thought that was too
yeah, no, that's what they are. Yeah, so,
but it is. I guess it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And the fourth being time or time space. Correct. The idea that time isn't linear, but it could be actually circular, or time could be space time could be happening all at once. Like my whole life has already played out. I'm just in this moment, but like it's being
because your brain doesn't have the capabilities to determine what it's like. Think of it like you're reading a book. The whole novel's there. You can go to any page at any time, but the way in which we have the ability to perceive time is one slice at a time.
Right.
So like realistically, there is no like technically you can't build a time machine because time is something that doesn't technically exist. It's just the thing that we're using as a concept to determine one moment from the next. But because we're forced either by our own perceptions like biology or the rules of the universe to live one moment consecutively at a time, we can never fully experience it. But that's why people say that when they're on their deathbed and the brain's firing and you get this huge DMT release when you're near death. Like it's more of a
have they proved
more
that?
DMT, yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's a massive it's a massive DMT dump. It's like you've got this whole thing stored up in your brain your entire life, and it dumps it all in a second. And then from that point, it's theorized that that allows you to perceive things beyond your normal limitations of your brain.
Right. I mean, if you talk to people that have done ayahuasca or have smoked DMT enough where they enter that other dimension, they call it, people call it, where it's like shapes and colors and they meet entities,
the ascended masters,
right? And when you see drawings of them, they all perceive close to the same images, which is very interesting. And DMT, you know, a lot of people try to say, oh, that's what people see as a near-death experience. It's just a DMT trip. But DMT doesn't last very long. So some people were dead for up to an hour, you know, and then come back. I don't think the DMT would still be working after brain functions have stopped, but I believe DMT is in the body so that your passing isn't so chaotic and scary. You actually enter this other dimension, and maybe that is when your soul is released into that dimension, because I do believe the soul goes somewhere, heaven, wherever you want to call it, nirvana,
21
heaven.
grams.
Yeah. I don't know if they ever proved that, but there was research on it, but it was like the one person that did it. Like when
the reason they stopped the research is because he was killing people.
Mm-hmm.
That was the reason. That's you know, the lead scientist in it was going out there kidnapping people, sedating them, and then murdering them.
What is that true? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I don't know enough of it. I just know that was it during like Nazi Germany time, or was this actually
not afterwards? It was
wow.
something to do with it was a person that was brought from one country to another to hold pieces of paper together, some sort of clip.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Maybe a paper clip. Yeah.
The scientist's name was McDougall.
Oh,
that's the guy that took over from. That's the guy who published the paper.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. I didn't know that. Brian saying the fifth dimension is spiritual astral plane. Yeah, dude, look.
No, that's the seventh.
When we think we know, that's when God laughs, pretty much. When we make plans, we think we truly know.
That's very mean.
No, dude, come on. The things that happen in our lives, he gave us the choice for that reason. But it's I don't know. For me, we talked about it a lot last week, so I'm not going to get into it again. But you know, the idea that the soul and that energy that is moving my body right now, that consciousness, I believe, is released at death and moves on to another plane.
That's what I think. I think the DMT is the thing that allows that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think it's a thing where it's just released to make your passing easier, because passings are never easy. They never have been.
Right.
No one would say that someone that was bleeding out to death, they had a pleasant experience.
Right. Now,
because why would it be trying to protect the brain if the brain's going to die? Truth. That makes no sense.
It doesn't. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, if you're going to die, what are they scared you're going to all of a sudden do? I mean, you're dying. That dump of DMT is and that's why the ancients, like the pituitary gland, the ancients believed in the crossing. And I mean, look at the Egyptians, they worked so hard at the idea of what happens after death. The Book of the Dead is a journey to the other side. The idea that you don't move on from this plane is something I can't fathom. Like people that think, oh, it just goes to dark. What was it like before you were born? And I get that sometimes. It's like, dude, shut up. I don't even remember, you don't remember stuff from your 4 or 5 because your conscience is created at the moment of conception. You are born. You are starting to become that being. Now, if it's a recycled soul, I'm not going to say, because I do kind of believe in some of those stories of children like knowing they were somebody else, like the family where he lived.
We went into the Russian girl who, who even found the murder weapon of the person she claimed to be.
Yeah.
And solved her own murder in a previous life.
Yeah. And these kids that have real quick, Steven, I'm sorry. These kids that have these memories from a previous life that have like birthmarks where the injury or what happened to the person is still on the skin of the child. Like if they were stabbed through the heart, the kid has a birthmark on the heart, like right where the heart would be. Like the one was a kid who got burned. The person got burned like half their body and died from that.
There was a chick at school that had lots of little like dots of like birthmarks in the face. I wonder if she was hit with a shotgun in a previous life.
Those are called freckles.
Wow.
No, these were birthmarks.
Oh shit, she deserved it. What were you gonna say, Walton?
Well, I like what Awesome one said. He said, "We are spirits having a physical experience," and
Yeah.
that's more of the way that I look at it. You know, I believe in reincarnation, and
Yeah.
so when I hear stories like that, it's just like that was such a traumatic experience that that soul came back to, you know, with that imprint on them. You know, and when we all go through traumatic experiences in our lives within this life, that's something that can affect us for our entire lives. You know, base our decision makings. Everything to how we think and how our body chemistry reacts to situations.
Right.
So, yeah, I just think that there's much more of a connection between mind, body, and soul, in my opinion, than is given credit today. And I think that the Egyptians knew that, especially during times when we had less things to distract us, you know, around us in today's world, and more time to focus on ourselves and be one with nature, for lack of a better term.
Right.
And there's newer age Christians that kind of believe that we kind of mirror Christ's life, and in the concept that, you know, we were part of divinity before birth. We spend a certain time on earth to experience trials and tribulations, and then it kind of determines your character and how close back to divinity that you get
You
in the
return.
end. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It seems
I
like a
think
shit
there's a reason.
system, if I'm being honest.
There's a reason why terms like Christ consciousness exist. I think that like we're all trying to reach that level of wisdom throughout our lives and get to that point. I think Yahshua was absolutely one of the people who incarnated in one of their last lives, and that's why he was so impactful.
Who is this?
Much like Jesus, Yahshua.
Oh, what did you freaking call him?
Joshua.
Okay.
If you check,
This is America, and his name is Jesus here. Okay.
if you check Roman records, there was
I
a
know.
Joshua Bar Joseph that was registered at the time, son of Mary.
Had a terrible carpentry like Yelp review though.
Oh, dude,
terrible.
the dude was terrible
That's
carpenter.
awful.
Terrible
Oh man,
carpenter.
I tell you what, I would have crucified him if he kept being a carpenter. That's for sure.
Oh my Lord.
Moving on with David Grusch. The event was held in Manhattan with a group of 60 people, including FBI officials, CIA officials, and tech entrepreneurs. According to the Daily Mail, the event was hosted by Coinbase advisor John D'Agostino. The object allegedly was able to manipulate space and time. The photo below was leaked by an attendant who claimed photos were banned at the event. So why did you fucking take a picture? I hate people. The video clip below was from Grusch at Joe Rogan. So this is
use him as an example.
No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to see the photo, but it's part of the damn thing. It looks like to me he's just having what many of these people in this field that are popular have, you know, $40 to come and see me speak. You know, I can't prove these people are CIA, FBI, or entrepreneur people, but you know, there is something to the effect of this guy, to me, seems kind of legit. You know,
it's weird that D'Agostino took an interest in him, because that guy is like very straight laced. Like, this is, I mean, he's got some weird deep pockets. He I don't know if you know the story of him, but he was like, started off as like doing stuff as a broker, then went to a magazine, then all of a sudden was handed this deal worth $1.3 billion, turned it into a $10 billion, and instantly became like a billionaire.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What was
John
the deal
D'Agostino?
for?
Some Chinese thing. Some Hong Kong thing. It was to do with that in London. I don't really know much about stocks and transfer and upselling and downselling, but yeah, it was something to do with that. Yeah, and he did this thing about basically how he rigged the stock exchange and sold $1 billion worth of oil.
Damn.
And now he's interested in this, which is, yeah.
I mean, that could bring some legitimacy to what Grusch is talking about. The thing I was going to say is there are people that come out that say they have firsthand knowledge. Not many of them, I believe, you know, right from the get-go, but something about like a Bob Lazar or David Grusch, I never like questioned after I listened to what they had to say. You know, just for the fact that they seem very particular in what they're saying. It doesn't seem to alter. I mean, Bob Lazar hasn't altered his story in 40 years, 30 years, 40.
Oh, that just proves that he's lying.
Yeah, right. Hasn't made any money off of it. Ruined his marriage, ruined businesses, and he still will not take it back or
it's funny for someone who the government says that they've got 100% proof that he's lying. They've never shown it, and they always seem to keep going after everything that he's on as soon as he opens his mouth.
Isn't that the truth? The last
for someone who doesn't know anything. Yeah.
Wait, say that one more time.
He didn't even want to open his mouth, and then he did that once.
David Grusch. Oh, Bob Lazar. Yeah.
And then like the last time he did was I think it was a Netflix special, and the FBI raided his freaking
that was the guy from Jeremy from Weaponized that I brought up before. He is the one that did the documentary. Going in as he says, going in as a non-believer, coming out believing. Lazar tried to keep his identity, because when he started doing with George Knapp the local Nevada news segments, he was always colored, dark shade for the face and changed the voice a bit. I don't know how he came out, if he came out or someone figured it out, but they try to swipe his records. I mean, they try to say he didn't go to the college he went to, but old directories that people still had him, like student directories had him in it. Los Alamos said he never worked there, but records show he did. So for people to try to scrub him, but yet there is still proof of it, that's another reason that tells me, okay, either this is a really, really high level disinformation campaign, which it doesn't seem to be, or he's telling the truth of what he believes is true. Low Specs.
It's true.
What's up, Low Specs? He says Bob Lazar was living not too far from here not long ago, working at Los Alamos, has a hydrogen powered Corvette. Yeah. Is it hydrogen? I know it was, he put a jet engine in one of his older cars when he was younger, a fucking jet engine in the thing. That's how he got discovered by somebody that was high up in Los Alamos. But yeah, this guy, certain people I kind of question, like Lou Elizondo, but that whole Academy to the Stars where him and former DOD generals, CIA, UAP people hooked up with one of the guys from Blink 182. That was a weird one. And they were supposedly coming out with all this information, but I still don't know if we got anything from them. I don't know about that.
I don't think we got anything new.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while too. That was pre-pandemic. Pandemic. Oh my shit. The vid. It was pre the vid.
Vietnam.
Vietnamese.
I mean, when it comes to the idea of walking into another dimensional space or a pocket dimension, do you think that if the use of gravity is used to drive these vehicles, that would have something to do with being able to create a dimensional pocket?
See, I don't think gravity has anything to do with these vehicles. I think they're using some type of either frequency or some type of magnetic, I guess what they say is the engine is two polar magnets spinning so fast because they're repelling from each other. It creates a magnetic field around it, causing them to be able to propel themselves, not really through space. It's kind of like they're out of the space in that bubble. It's instead of being pushed, instead of being pushed, they're almost being pulled. That's how some people have described it.
Well, I'd heard something similar as far as the gravity, like a gravity drive, how it pulls. It's not being pushed, but it pulls to a specific location using,
I got what you're saying.
Again, referencing Lazar with the 3 magnetic poles underneath the saucer section.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
and I mean, something like that wouldn't that break the laws of time, so to speak, and slip you through, time portals?
I mean, the speed you probably can obtain being in a protective shield per se. You can go faster.
Well, technically, they wouldn't have any speed.
They would.
Right.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. They could almost just appear to where they want. Almost like, what were we talking about last week? We were talking about like particles on the opposite side of space being able to communicate with each other in a
entanglement
like at the moment.
Quantum entanglement. Right.
Quantum entanglement.
That's it.
You want to know the biggest proof that they have of quantum entanglement that they've found? Sheep.
Please
they've done experiment. Yeah, there's these weird things in Australia. For whatever reason, the same group of
things.
Same group of sheep figured out a way to get out over the cattle grids. They all did it at the exact same. As soon as one of them did it, all over the country at the same time, the sheep figured it out. It was this weird phenomenon.
What?
Yeah.
So
let's see if I can find the thing on it.
That kind of
they called it something different, not quantum entanglement. They called it a different thing. I'll see if I can find what it is.
Yeah, that's like the Akashic records, the ability that we're all actually connected to this, greater
collective consciousness.
Yeah, consciousness. That's interesting, man. Yeah,
that is, man. I've never heard that before.
No, me
either.
Yeah,
they figured out that instead of walking, they could roll over it, and it was enough for them to get over the cattle grids.
That's crazy. While you look for that, I'm going to bring up this other one that I found. So this is the one I was talking about before. Image shows UFO downed by U.S. fighter jet in Canada airspace days after Chinese spy craft incident. So if you remember back in 2023, the spy balloon that Biden just let go across Alaska and then enter, I think, in Montana area, and then finally shot it down after X amount of hours. And they did it more than once. So let's see what it says. And this said, object shot down over Yukon territory, believed to be small metallic balloon with a tethered payload, which is terrifying that we let it go that long. Yeah. An image of a UFO that was shot down by a U.S. fighter jet over Canada last year was released Wednesday. The blurry photo, which appeared to be a photocopy of an email printout of a unidentified cylindrical object, was captured as it hovered in the air in February 2023, days before it was shot down over Canada's Yukon territory, which borders Alaska, according to CTV News. The news outlet obtained the image through an information request from Canada's Department of National Defense. The object initially drifted from Alaska into Canadian airspace. The North American Aerospace Defense Command first detected the high-altitude airborne object flying at about 40,000 feet over Alaska and scrambled jets to monitor. So does that look like a balloon?
Oh, that looks like the symbol for my mouse, contour.
Yeah, right?
I think it's Pac-Man.
It's something. It's weird.
I mean, from the ground, possibly. I could possibly, but I mean, you'd have to describe that trail, the opening.
Yeah, okay, I could something is under the balloon, and we're seeing it from the. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Or there's a light coming from the right side, so the shadow of the basket or whatever hanging from the balloon is the break in the circle.
All right.
The sun, maybe.
Maybe the moonlight. It was shot down on February 11th, 23, and was one of 3 aerial objects brought down that month after the downing of Chinese surveillance balloon days earlier. All 3 objects were smaller than the Chinese spy balloon that drifted from Alaska across the U.S. before it was shot down off the coast of South Carolina. We let it go across the U.S. before we shot that thing down. Yesterday afternoon,
you don't want to shoot it down over the U.S. Someone might find it.
That's true. Yesterday afternoon, I also spoke with President Biden and confirmed together that we will continue to do everything necessary to protect the sovereignty of our shared North American airspace, but also to do everything necessary to keep our citizens safe, says
I don't
Prime
believe that.
Minister...
I don't think Biden could even put those words together or understand that collection of words.
Yeah, he's not around. That was Prime Minister Castro that said that.
And did Castro mean by that statement about keeping citizens safe that it wasn't safe to shoot it down, and that's why they let it stay in the air for so long?
Yeah, but it went over vast areas where there was very low population, and they waited till South Carolina.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not trying to say our government would do this, but just in case there was something lethal that could have created, some kind of, issue that they.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
They'll blame it on the
9/11 was an
orange
inside
man.
job. Yeah.
Yeah, could have been. Congressman moves to declassify UFO docs. If you got nothing to hide, release the files. This was back in May. I know that I saw something where they were talking about where is it? Hold on one second. I will find it. It was they're going to do another Senate discussion about
Oh,
UAPs
really?
again. I believe so, if I remember, and it was only released a couple days ago, this message. So
Sit around and convince one another that there's nothing to see here again.
yeah.
What about the idea? Like, why you're looking for that? Like, Tina Grant. What do you think of the idea that there's security clearance higher than the sitting president is allowed to have? Like, do you think that's plausible?
100%. It's not that it's
plausible, but probably not probable.
It's not higher clearance. What it is these are people, non-elected government officials that are there way longer than a president will be, and they do not allow them. Yeah, it is in a way. It's
you've got a project that its pre-stage production is probably 15 to 20 years. That's 4 different presidents. That's 4 different people, 4 different people's wives that they don't want to talk about. There's so many things that operate above and beyond what the government knows within the government itself. Everyone's fully aware of that. Like, I mean, how else can trillions and trillions of dollars go missing and everyone go, yeah, it's fine. We looked into it.
Right.
It's got to go somewhere. So the idea that would make sense. The likelihood that something like this, I don't know. Like, to what end? If it's just about scientific knowledge, then maybe. But there's always got to be. You got to look at the purpose. What's the purpose of hiding it? If they're not working directly for the government, and there's some sort of side piece, what do they gain by keeping all this a secret?
Oh,
and then you can work your way backwards.
Control.
But control over what? Control over information that no one thinks is real isn't control.
No. Control over what is. It's not about the information. It's about the actual objects. It's about the actual technology. These people, there are people, I believe, within our government that have physical proof that alien life is there, or interdimensional, or future humans, whatever. And they do not want that information out. And they will tell, people that the reason they don't tell the president or the vice president is plausible deniability. But the truth of the matter is, these people are trying to control this tech. I mean, they get maybe certain corporations that you always hear about when, UFO people are talking, but they're probably making billions off of the tech that they were able to, retrofit, or whatever you call that. Like the microwave and shit like that, whatever people try to say. Was it, lasers and stuff? But
I think the advent of the microprocessor, the way in which the technology just came out of nowhere, I could see something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The idea
and it all happened after 1947 too, dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, it also happened after 1901, but it doesn't really change anything. Like, there's always been sightings and different things. That's just the one that people tend to cling on to.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're going to take any sighting,
which makes me more likely to think it's the one that's not real.
See, I could see why. Oh shit! I could see why you would say that. But if you just sit back and look at how quickly we advanced after that, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty
Well, it's
freaking
also, you
impressive.
got to understand that it's also post-war as well. So the world and the way in which people were viewing everything had changed. You
Mhm.
know, that people were willing to sit down and try and innovate to try and make life better, because they've literally just gone through, you know, 2 terrible wars in 25 years.
Mm,
So
yeah,
like that you also got to take that into account as well.
yeah, true. It just, I don't know. I don't know. It, to me, we just jumped. I mean, we jumped pretty damn quick. And supposedly the government is 50 years ahead of that. So to think about the technology they may be working with, there was
Well,
like
just think, 100 years ago, the idea of having everyone having a landline phone in their house would be a crazy suggestion.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. I mean, or TV.
and now we have conversations between 2 AI bots that don't exist across the world instantaneously.
Right, right. No, and that's true. But usually our technology, and I understand that it may quicken our technology advancements. Once you discover one thing, it might quickly discover to the next, to the next, to the next.
Well,
But
I mean, just in generative AI, within 1 year, it went from Will Smith looking like he was eating spaghetti, kind of in a weird sort of video at like 3 or 4 frames, to being able to do 60 frames a second full HD videos that you cannot tell whether it's real or not.
mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
and
right.
that's within a year. There's a difference between
It's post 1947 also.
yeah. Well, I mean, technically everything now is, except everything that was before that. You know.
Yeah, I truly believe if you want to look at any of the other sightings, the one that shows proof that things started to change pretty quick. I mean, you even get a president warning us, of what they may have been doing with that technology, because they brought in all different defense companies that they all of a sudden these defense companies were creating things light years ahead of where they were the year before, the 2 years before, like light years ahead. It went that fast. That's the thing I'm saying. Like technology will, speed up a bit, but the idea that we went from, just starting to use jets to where they were a decade and a half later, it just, that technology boom was insane. And I'm talking about military, not, commercial and shit. I can see where you're coming from, and I like the debate. I just think you're completely and utterly wrong, my friend.
Oh, coming from Grant's perspective, also, like if you had all
Yes,
this money that
pegging.
was put into if you had all this money put into projects and then nowhere to fund it, like company, like so much money is allocated toward a company or toward a project, and then where do we put that money? It could
Mhm.
have went to advancements. Although I lean more toward your perspective on this, but there could
Right.
have been more energy and money put into creating advancements or innovative technologies at that time.
I mean, look how much
That is
money
possible.
is not recorded in the budget of the defense. I mean, billions, close to half
Well,
of,
they just lost it. They
yeah,
lost it.
just
Can't account for it.
you can,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You can audit us. We just don't know where the hell it went,
Right.
Um,
But
that,
don't you skip us on 3 cents on that tax form, or you're going to jail.
yeah. I mean, think about this too. Right after 1947, a couple of years before we created the bomb, and then 1950, I think it was, we were putting nuclear reactors in a submarine. So just 2 years before, and then 2.5 to 3 years after. That's a huge leap. The ability
Yeah,
to put
absolutely.
it safely into a submarine. I mean, that to me, that's something that is shocking how quick that happened. Um,
Mhm.
there's a lot of crazy, theories out there, and so many people that say they have firsthand knowledge. It's just you have to, and then the people make money off it, so they all talk bad about the other, and he's a plant, and he's this, and that dude's CIA. It's hard in this field of ufology to know who's being true and who's just a bullshitter. I mean, that one dude
Yeah.
that David Wilcox hooked onto, that was saying he was part of the hidden Space Force. And I mean, his story, it was such a crazy, almost like Bob Lazar. He never wanted to be on TV. He never wanted to be seen. And then all of a sudden, David talked him into it. And I believe David believed this guy. And then the next thing you know, this guy is making buku bucks, doing personal appearances and shit like that. And I think he had to admit in court that he was bullshitting. That really just puts a bad blemish on UFO people that are really wanting to know the truth. Like David, like Dr. Greer, that guy seems to be someone who wants to know the truth, but there's so many people out there that say, oh, he's a CIA plant. Who's to know?
I mean, what Adega just said something interesting. Yeah. Right there.
Yeah. Adega says, I have direct evidence, personally, testimony, at least that these folks are at least 40 to 50 years ahead of what's publicly known. And I'll take his word for it. I will. I really will. I mean, he knows his shit.
Adega's a straight shooter, man. Yeah.
Yeah. The 1930s, 40s government was recovering crashed advanced technology, either built by secret earthly civilizations or alien. Yeah, I mean, it could be future, it could be interdimensional, it could be inner Earth. I know people don't like to believe that one.
I mean, if you're thinking along those lines, maybe the reason we haven't been allowed to know the true history of the growth of civilization is the same reason why Tesla went to Egypt before discovering his technologies, and then all of a sudden it disappeared after his death.
Yep. Yeah, he had a certain amount of crates with his documentation in it, and they only recorded like 2/3 of those crates. The government took it all, but they only recorded 2/3 and gave it back to the family when they were done. And I believe heavily redacted, they gave it back to them.
It was kind of reminded me of. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
It kind of brought me back to the idea you were talking about, the power of the ships, possibly frequency. I think frequency has a lot to do with technologies that are being suppressed and that were known by ancient peoples. Yeah,
they talk about like cancer at 100,000 hertz breaks down within the body, where none other atoms break down but the cancer atom. There's like a certain hertz after 100,000 that they can use. Now, is that true? I don't know, but there was some guy claiming that, and then he kind of disappeared.
Funny how they do that.
Yeah, that was like 40, 50 years ago. Yeah, I can see where you're talking, Cheesy G. As long as Greer has been at it, I'm starting to doubt him. He's been promising huge news for decades. I believe he believes it. I believe he believes it. He believes they're going to release it. Now, is he getting played by the Rockefellers and other people that he was involved with? Maybe. I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm, just approaching it from a hopeful curiosity, but I really believe that after the attempts on Donald Trump's life and him now working with RFK Jr., I really think that if he's able to get into office, we're going to see much more about the
Like
FBI
everything.
and the CIA and the cover-ups. Exactly. I'm not saying that this is going to be, the font of all information we've been waiting for all of history, but I think they're going to end up having to give up a whole bunch of something to satisfy him and the people.
Well, and us, because Trump did say he would release the JFK documents when he was in office, and he didn't do it. And I guess he's been reported to say, after seeing them, you wouldn't have done it too. So to me, that's a clear giveaway that the government was involved. What I like about RFK, is that they attacked him so much that people now think he's a wacko about vaccines. This guy spent his whole adult life and career defending citizens against corporations and the government, against people getting sick by what they're dumping and pumping into the atmosphere and shit. He spent all that time. So what people are saying is, if Trump is elected, he will have RFK like either as like a attorney general or surgeon general, being and going after like the whole COVID czar shit and what happened during that.
Like Director of Health and Human Services, something like that.
Well, probably on more of a, I was thinking that, but I think it would be more on a, he'd be in a more court setting, like a, more of a, oh my God, I cannot speak.
Litigation.
Yeah. Holding litigations and probably committees about what happened. I'd like to see all that info. So basically
more investigative and less like direction, managing type thing, which would have been the previous.
Well,
okay,
like I like
by that.
I like what Tina brought up, and we were talking about this earlier on Rogue, and like Trump had to fight his own FBI, the own FBI for a year and a half under Comey, with all that was going on. And just if let's just say he is an outsider to the system itself, and how much they would have scrambled to hide from him any of that information. And he said he was going to go after the swamp, and then kind of with the things that are being released in 2024, at least the people that are being arrested and things that we know about, just entertainments alone. To know that he went after, he used the U.S. Marshals to go after trafficking rings in the last year, makes me wonder. Okay, was he at that point able to start going after the swamp?
I think when he first,
and what will happen if he gets in?
Well, when he first got in the swamp, he didn't realize, I think, how deep that swamp was. I mean, they were in his own cabinet.
Who could?
I think if he had this term, he said he wasn't, the handover of power. They had like meetings about it, but he didn't realize how much went into it. He has been planning for the last like 8 months that transition of power. So, we'll see, but they're all bullshitters in a way. So I don't trust until, hey, just give me what you're telling us you're going to give us.
Yeah, dig it.
There
like
she is. The Fed needs to get everybody. All these politicians can get it. Yeah. I just don't know if I trust the feds too. The upper echelon, Comey was he truly spent the last few years he was there hindering his boss's job. I mean, the guy was, you should have no stayover from the prior presidents, anything, any head of any department, anything should be, all right, good luck. Here's your severance. I'm putting in my own people.
But I feel for Trump because that goes against everything. When it comes to managing a corporation, you want to keep the brain trust where possible.
Right.
If the wheels are greased and everything is working properly, you leave that in order and you target the trouble areas. Right. Unfortunately, politics is an entirely different story.
Yeah. And she's right. The department head should be nonpartisan. Even in your own personal life, choose what you want. But when you are on the job, you need to do the job, not the job for your party. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, you don't do the job for your party.
Yes.
I don't know. So now we're getting this, the Senate Armed Service Committee to hold UFO hearings. This came out a couple days ago. The Senate Armed Service Committee is looking to hold a UFO hearing after the November elections. Senator Kristen Gillibrand's of New York office confirmed to The Hill. Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends on who wins then.
Yeah.
Whether it happens.
Mm-hmm. This is a Democrat being like, look, we'll do it only if you vote correctly.
Wait, Jane said she saw a UFO today.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah.
Really?
What?
Hold up. Really? Can you give us a little detail?
That's cool.
Give us some details. That is crazy.
I mean, if you're looking for a platform to come on and tell your story, I might know of one.
Yeah, I know a guy. So she goes on to say, she or he, I don't know. It's a priority for me. I think it's very important that we continue to make things publicly available. A progress report on how many unidentified aerial phenomenon we've assessed and analyzed. Give examples of what we have identified and give examples of what we haven't identified. That'd be nice. Because credibility is out the window. We'll see if that actually happens. I mean, will the government ever be honest about that? I don't know.
You government and honest. Those two
Yeah.
words don't really mesh all too well,
Oh.
I think.
I don't know what the hell this is.
Nice
Hold
job.
on, let me.
And it wasn't a porn site.
No. That's the other one. We can deliver content. We give. Whatever. Cooking
Did you want to
Oh.
highlight Jane's comment?
Yes. I saw two squares things flying in the air. I thought they were weird looking birds. Then they shape shifted into a plane. It turned and changed direction. Holy crap.
What?
That is crazy.
Wow.
They turned into a plane and changed direction. That's crazy.
See, that's one of the only few times you can say, look, it's a bird, it's a plane, and you're right on both accounts.
Mm-hmm. That is true. It could have been, Superman was an alien. I found this kind of funny. Yeah, police across U.S. given new UFO handbook as they pose significant safety risk. What?
Well, I mean, I know we've had a lot of extra aliens in, Chicago lately, but I don't think those are the ones the Chicago Police Department has got a book on.
Yeah, they're not worried about.
I mean, the
those
aliens
guys.
that eat cats.
Yeah, yeah, they're not allowed to focus on them. The report, which is 11 pages long, warns officers of the significant safety risks to law enforcement air support units the unidentified flying objects pose, and urge them to be vigilant when traveling in helicopters. Okay. Officers' stories of UFO confrontation are also included, with one in 2023 where a law employee saw I'm guessing, triangular craft with green lights gliding through the sky before a local resident said something ran nearby. Wow. That is crazy. It was created by the police executive. The document has been created by the police executive as it's in the interest of law enforcement to be aware of trends reporting UAPs due to unknown threat they may pose. Is this the reference guide? So
That would be cool.
different chapters. UAP in the news, law enforcement consideration, U.S. government UAP program, whistleblowers, UAP in Congress, UAP and U.S. DOD. This has to be something different. Major chief. No, it's the Chiefs Association. So that's what it must be. UAP and NASA, UAP and the FAA.
Website looks legit too, so it's good.
Really? That's crazy. Spy balloon drones and advanced UAP pose clear and present danger. So that one I just read, one of the ones I just read is the same article they have up. That's nuts. Oh, I need that link. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's trippy as hell, yeah.
So she says, I almost took photos, but said to myself, no, that's crazy. Who wants to see these weird looking birds? I do. When it became a plane, I almost pulled over. Yeah, I would have. That's
no doubt.
Nuts. I would like to think the military was testing shape-shifting tech.
Yeah. Or it could have been, I mean, maybe you need to contact some sort of ornithologist because, see if they've had any birds that have turned into planes.
This person, Indian aerospace engineer, said there are definitely aliens out there in the universe. Well, yeah. When asked if life exists, absolutely, without a doubt, my conscience tells me yes, although I have no proof. Yeah, whatever. That is crazy that it was made in the first place, though. I mean, the idea of how many police must be getting reports or actual firsthand witnessing it to have them create a guide, that's telling you something right there. I mean,
okay, I have the PDF. If you,
yeah,
I don't know if you want me to link or if you want me to share.
No,
it's
you
entirely
can
up
just
to you,
share it.
but it's an 11 page document. So give me just a sec.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, share that.
Let me see what.
Let me make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But that is that. And there's everything that you just read, the different sections.
Right.
It's got quotes from Fox News. It says, unidentified objects in defended airspace represent a domain awareness gap. This gap poses a clear and present danger to pilots and our soldiers that is more acute than ever. Whereas the Chinese spy balloon was visible to civilians from the ground, the 3 other objects shot down by American fighters over Alaska, Canada, and Michigan the following weekend were only detected after the North American Aerospace Defense Command removed Cold War era filters from its radar. Previously, filters excluded anything too small, too high, too slow, or too fast to be a Soviet bomber or ballistic missile. It's kind of strange that we had these filters on there for the last 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
and just
Yep.
now took it down. But let's see what else is in here. Law enforcement considerations, unknown threat to public safety, aviation safety, UAP related calls for service. Historically, citizens reported UAP above both rural and densely populated cities. It's logical many of these citizens chose to report these incidents to 911 or emergency call centers. Therefore, it may be relevant to track and analyze how many calls for service and police responses these incidents create. That makes a whole lot of sense. And especially if the different, police departments aren't sharing that information at a county or a state or a federal level, you'd never really get a large enough sample to, make any of it useful.
Yeah. I mean, the idea that they had to come out military wise, come out and tell servicemen and women that if you do report it, you will not be treated badly. It won't be a blemish on your career, because there are so many people that have seen things that will not come out because they don't want to look like a nut job.
Exactly. And I didn't realize that there's no official UAP reporting mechanism or common procedure for local law enforcement to report UAP incidents.
Right. Well, yeah, because it's been always treated as like a kook thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this gives us like a background of the different times. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess the progression of the programs to monitor that from the 40s all the way through to the present.
Mm-hmm.
And
Interesting.
let's see what else we got in here. Obviously, photos from Roswell.
I'm waiting for, because people have been talking about that Roswell picture where the general or major is holding a piece of paper in his hand with the weather balloon, and they've been getting it more and more clear to see what was written on it. I don't know where they're at now with it, so I might have to look that up, because that's one of the ones that people say will be the proof we need. Because
really, like from the original picture,
or the original picture of for the press to show this was just an air balloon, not a UFO at Roswell. He's holding a piece of paper, kind of crumbled a bit, but facing us, thinking, no way this photo, anybody could read this paper,
right.
But now technology has gone so far, people have been trying to bring out what that letter says.
Interesting.
Yeah, that would be very interesting to see, if possible.
Yeah, right.
I'll send you this PDF if you want to look at it for future.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah,
ton of live links in here and stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Seems to be like I said, a lot of links for just a 11-page document. It's got international stuff and pictures of NASA people. Oh, a study from the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Independent Study Team Report.
Mm-hmm.
Information from the FAA. It's pretty cool.
So I have to bring this up. What about the conspiracy theory that there would be a mock invasion to create a crisis? Like, would something like this support that?
No, well, there was a conspiracy theory that was a conspiracy theory. So I think it means it's true.
Thank you, sir.
Wait a minute. So what? What was that again? Oh, that's great. All right. Yep. Go ahead.
Let's see. Key takeaways. Former U.S. naval pilot Ryan Graves says unidentified objects in defended airspace represent a domain awareness gap. We heard that in the first section. UAP can have a significant impact on law enforcement. We read that. Since 1945, the United States government has funded and supported UAP investigations with the goal of determining whether UAP represent a flight safety risk, technological leaps by competitor nations, or evidence of off-world technology under intelligent control. Section 4 is all about a former military intelligence officer turned whistleblower told House lawmakers that Congress is being kept in the dark about UAP, alleging at a hearing that executive branch agencies have withheld information about the mysterious objects for years. Section 5 is new legislation proposed by bipartisan lawmakers aims to protect civilian pilots and air personnel who report sightings of UAP. Section 6, the All-Domain Anomalous Resolution Office was established by the U.S. DoD in July 2022. Its mission is to synchronize efforts across various federal departments and agencies, aiming to detect, identify, and attribute UAP near military installations, training areas, and other relevant locations.
No, I mean, they don't do anything about the Chinese buying all the land around it, so why would they do anything about UFOs?
Section 7 is all about many non-U.S. nations have UAP research tracking programs. France has got stuff. Canada's got stuff. Section 8 is all about the NASA study commission to examine UAP. Section 9 is about the FAA stuff. And then the last one, Section 10, had the links to all the different groups. Every single one of these jumbled lists of letters. Can you imagine how many millions or billions of dollars
right
it takes to run all of these different programs?
It would be nuts. I mean, that's what I'm saying. And that money is just disappears. We don't know what happened to that $1 billion you gave us in our budget.
Yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Oh, man. So I found this website. Here, I'm going to share this. This is about the General Ramsey paper. If I could find the General Ramsey, hold on. Let me find his photo first. Oh, do they have an actual images? Roswell. Okay, this is the photos. Here, I'll just stop sharing this for a second and share this. So this is just like some of these are like the main photos right here. So he's holding the piece of paper in his hand right there. I know it's hard to see, so I hate this because it always opens in another door or window, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, make it bigger, bro. I don't know what I'm looking at here. I don't know if it's a guy sneezing into a tissue. Okay.
So this right here is the one photo with him holding it. Then we can go to this. I think this might be the one that's like the most popular for people that are trying to decipher what it says.
Oh yeah, because it's not quite crumpled in his hand like the other photo.
Right. So this is where they're showing, look, it's just a weather balloon, everybody. Just a weather balloon.
You can imagine his orders are on that piece of paper, like
absolutely.
Tell the press this, tell the
Yep. So then you go back to this website, and it's called roswellproof.com. Key to interpreters. So it says RP1, Roswell Photo Interpretation Team. So these are all different groups that actually have been breaking this thing down for quite a few years. It's last time it was updated, it was 2021, I guess. It has an A next to it. They all agree on it. So let's see if we can find one of these. No, I saw them. They have the actual photos. Let's see. So FWAAF acknowledges that a disk is next to new find west of. Then they can't figure out what it says next. Jumps down to another one as the, but this other group says it says recovery operations with Roswell disk at the, and then you jump down to this next line. Now, I don't know if this is all the same line because they all have number 1 next to it.
Yeah, I think they're all trying to analyze. I think it's all those different organizations in the
Right.
parentheses on the left are
Yep.
trying to analyze the same line of text.
Okay, so I guess they put it together here then, down here, excuse me. And it says, RICO operation was Roswell NEA, something that starts with an O, ends with an N, at the, with disk as. Someone down here thinks it was the coordinate at location was a wreck near operation at the. All right, so the next one is everyone pretty much agrees on July 4th remains. But some say July 4th, the victims of the wreck you forwarded to the, and then it goes down to at Fort Worth, Texas. 8th Air Force at Fort Worth, Texas. So everybody, something went to Fort Worth, Texas. We'll just say that.
Yeah. And they mentioned crash victims. So as far as I understand, there weren't any civilian casualties as a result of the Roswell
the air
incident.
balloon. Yeah.
So, yeah.
No balloon. Oh, Bosco, what's up, dude? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so they all agree on July 4th remains. So something about the remains. But a lot of people do say there were victims. Down here, we got the crash story for something. Disk must have sent Los Alamos. Disk must have sent Los Alamos. Disk must thus save from atomic. So they all agree on aiders on the disk must have sent for a -- something question marks. This they blank save Los Alamos. This is kind of crazy that all these people worked on this starting back in the 90s. Urgent powers are needed. Site 2 at Roswell. NMEX. Yeah, because people say there was more than one one crash that day or night.
Okay.
Yep. Multiple sites. The next line says, Day Safe Talk newspaper, meaning of story and think, said send mistake version, told the next something our PR of weather balloon would make work. So this is just telling them we got to cover this shit up. The 509 and land something cruise. And then the last one's just Ramsey.
That's crazy.
So it must be saying something about, this letter, this was not, it was reported that it was a disc. And then the next day, the Air Force said that was a mistake. It was a weather balloon. And there's a lot of people that were there that night that were like, they came in quick to cover this up. But the first report was Air Force, personnel say unidentified disc crashed in Roswell.
Well, a flattened balloon would look like a disc set.
Yeah. Man, it's interesting that people are working on it. That is so cool. So this is some of people, what they did to break it down. So they got disc out of that, sweet. Victims out of that, print enlarged, scanned at 600 DPI, contrast enhanced, stretched 50% vert. That's crazy.
That is amazing.
We need AI to help us with that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I meant to bring up.
All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, right?
Grant saves the world.
Because I'm telling you, that doesn't look like victim to me. You know, some people got victims, some got remains, some got findings, some got viewing. So it's interesting to see if AI would be able to, take the, I don't know, the pixels and be able to redo it and make it the actual, words.
Extrapolate into something, right?
Or try to take the context and make up what the sentences might say,
Yeah,
given
maybe.
the letters and words that were readable.
Here we go. Game theory for $5. She says, and thank you very much. Say aliens invaded. What's the best and worst case scenario for humans? If it's an invasion, that they make us their pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the first wave we'd be fucked.
Well, either that or, as I'm a gracist, I'm pretty open about that. I don't like the grays. So they might come down here to probe, just more asses. They just want all the asses at once, and they just want.
So
to
is
probe
it like a
each single one.
jealousy thing? Like, because you
No, I don't like I just don't like the idea of like little like dwarves beaming into my house wearing leather and chains and like hitting me with a stun gun and then throwing things up my ass. I just don't like the idea of it.
Some people
I think
believe
that should be
they're
consensual.
future us. They think they're future us.
I mean, that's even worse
Yeah,
considering
that
the
is
direction
so
that we're going
cool.
with all these genders.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
it started. It started.
What if that's like the far left takes over and that's what we evolve into? Like, I don't like that.
You never know, dude. That is terrifying.
Can you
to think
imagine
about.
Can you imagine what an alien race would like? Which type of human, as far as features and height, weight, whatever, would make cute? Like we like cute animals, like puppies and kittens. Like
Mhm.
which one of us would the aliens find cute? Like, oh, we can keep these pets, but we'll get rid of the other ones because those are uglier.
Yeah.
It would be the furries. The furries would be safe. Mackany draws would be totally safe. All the furries would be okay. Yeah.
Right. Truthfully, if they invaded, what they would do is take out anything. I mean, there's been reports that they come to our nuclear, silos, and they will either shut them off on us or actually turn them on and then shut them off. So, like, if they have that ability, we're fine.
I don't think they'd irradiate.
yeah.
I reckon if they were to attack, they would attack our churches.
Oh, you're
They would
really
attack
loud right now. Woo.
Sorry, all right, I'll go back. So
Yeah.
I reckon if they were to do it, they would attack the churches and they'll attack the hospitals, and then leave us to destroy ourselves for a bit, and then come in afterwards. Plain and simple.
Oh wow,
For the farmlands too.
AI is being used for the Nazca planes. What? I gotta look that up. You guys talk for a second. So what do you think,
cool.
Tina, if they attacked truthfully? Like if we were actually invaded?
If we were invaded, then I see that we have nothing. I mean, if they're able to travel as far as we assume that they are coming, then we have nothing to defend ourselves, and we just have to hope that whatever resource they're coming here for needs us alive. Like, for example, if they nuke the planet, then they can't get the water they need, or if they nuke the planet, they can't get the particular, the chemical or gas, mineral, whatever element that they're looking for.
So like Anunnaki slaves.
Yeah,
exactly.
Taking that gold. So yeah, Keith, I'm gonna check that out right now. So AI helps uncover hundreds of unknown ancient symbols hidden in Peru's Nazca Desert. So they're finding drone footage taken in Peru's Nazca Desert reveals an orc with a knife, one of 303 newly discovered ancient symbols. Wow.
That is awesome.
That's insane. Dude, I want to go to Peru so bad.
The sky people need direction,
Yeah. I mean, the one that's like waving at them, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, we're your friends. Archaeologists working in Peru, assisted by AI, have discovered 303 previously unknown giant symbols carved in the Nazca Desert. The carving include birds, plants, spiders, human-like figures with headdresses, decapitated heads, and an orc wielding a knife. Could that be like the orc one being a ship with weapons?
Mm-hmm.
Well, couldn't an orca wielding a knife just be a narwhal?
Yeah, maybe. That's pretty good. So this is a study that was published in journal PNAS. The discovery almost doubles the number of known Nazca geoglyphs, mysterious artworks formed in the ground by moving stone. Yeah, we know how it's done. Located 50 kilometers or 31 miles for us civilized people inland from Peru's south coast. The huge symbols were found in the desert beginning in the early 20th century, some 500 meters above sea level. Yeah, it's very dry. I think it gets less than a half an inch of rain or something like that. Let's see. The rate of new finds has increased in recent years due to the use of remote high resolution imaging, with an average of 19 geoglyphs found annually in the from 2022. However, the use of AI to narrow down potential candidates has since turbocharged the pace and more broadly promises of revolution in archaeology discovers. Now, can we use that to help us with the lost civilizations? I don't know, maybe go over to the Sahara. I know they're using LiDAR in the Amazon, but can you use that in the Sahara too? I'll be right back. Hold on one second, guys. What do you think?
Wait, was that a question or?
It was kind of a droning statement, but we can turn it into a question, Grant. Go right ahead.
I'm sorry, my daughter came back in, so I'm talking to my kid for a second. How could they use AI in different areas where they've been using LiDAR to find these ancient structures?
Well, they're not allowed to do it over there because they don't want the secrets known. What's about there that there wasn't half the stuff that they reckon. That's their biggest tourism boom. No, never has a place in the world been more synonymous with one thing. You think like Egypt. You think pyramids. You think the Valley of the Kings. It's people don't know that there's other things in that country because people think that's just that. Like they don't care what's underneath. They don't need to know, or they want to hide it. Plain and simple. So they'll never be able to do it, not unless Elon has it attached to some sort of satellite and does it all remotely. It's the only way you're ever going to find out.
That's a good point. I mean, that's the benefits of
And that being said, he shouldn't have that technology to do that from space.
What were you going to say, Tina?
I said, well, I think it's very cool that Elon would be able to detect things from space that that would previously only be accessible by a major nation's government. And I'm all about power to the people. So
yeah, I mean, I know they use the LiDAR scanning in planes, so you don't even have to have satellite for that. But when you're doing the LiDAR, when you're taking these pictures, can you use an AI program to find things that the human eye doesn't see in the picture?
It depends on what it's been trained to do. Not sure. Did you see this one?
No.
This one was sent to me by YetiCast.
Okay. Thank you, Yeti. It just appears in the sky? Go back yeah, okay. Perfect V looking. So those
formation.
Yeah, definitely different objects, most likely. Where is this? Does it say? That is Yeti. You're showing all your DMs.
There's DMs. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I would like to know where that was from. That would be really cool to see.
He's probably getting that information. I mean, like when you first started using satellites, we found the city grids. I forget where it was. It's somewhere in South Africa or in the south of Africa that showed city grids of a civilization that we don't even have documented. But when you really think about the fact that you're using radar technology to see symbols like that, I think it reinforces the idea that they weren't meant for your average person. They were put together for those who would see it from a high perspective.
Right.
And
They either did it for their, gods or aliens, or they did it for when we can catch up in technology to see it. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
possibly, or I mean, you're right. I mean, that's a good way of looking at it. But I think that there's been just so much symbolism and that we've seen from um, places in India, Central America. Forgive me, I can't remember if it was Aztec or Mayan, but just have these designs that look like planes. They look like rockets. They look like things that we would recognize as aircraft or even craft that could launch into space. It's just the hidden history of the human race, Homo sapiens sapien, or whatever we were before we were possibly changed genetically, is so interesting to me. And any information that's being sequestered or held back about that is a crime to us, I think, as a race collectively.
Amen to that.
There's a lot of questions that I think need to be answered that ancient texts and monuments have been telling us for a long time. You just look at the what you can get out of the sand of Mexico City alone. The types of imagery you get off the discs of the ancients that lived there. I don't know about you, but the idea of somebody riding a freaking Stegosaurus is just a little bit outside the realm of believable. What was going on back then? Did they have paleontology, or do they have technology that can travel? What is it? What are we looking at there?
Right. Or how long, has our species truly been around? Or how long did some of those dinosaurs live?
Right.
I believe the oldest place on Earth is only a couple million years old, like actual physical Earth, because the crust keeps pulling it back under and repurposing it in the mantle and bringing it back up. Mountains become, streams. But something I found interesting too is they used that lidar in the Sahara, and they found like all over northern Africa, and they found like 1,000 what could be pyramids, because they see these rectangle or square images everywhere. The Amazon has become something completely different. I mean, there was a mega civilization there. I mean, these cities could have hold like tens to even hundreds of thousands of people connected with these massive highway systems. So we're finding so much more out, but yet it's not reported. It's almost like they don't want us to, you have to hunt for this information, where you would hope they would like throw it out there so people can learn. I don't know. No, go ahead.
Well, I like what Slenderdad said. The human brain tries to associate observations with what it already knows. Absolutely. And Jane's like there's pyramids all over Africa. Yeah, there's ancient structures all over that part. That's part of the ancient world that are unexplored or not popularized.
Yeah, I mean, there's pyramids everywhere.
And I mean, like you talk about underground. We're talking about underground, hollow earth or those kind of things earlier. There was being mentioned in the chat the levels of tunnels that are carved underneath Giza alone. I think we should put a little bit more. I think we should get a little more information about that. You're like 11 levels down of these huge tunnel systems.
Right.
That's incredible.
Right.
What was going on in the ancient world at that time?
People are, again, underground, like where if something happened, people can go there. There was water, if it wasn't a power plant, it could have been some type of protection. But there is people that say that it's not just levels down, but it's massive under there. I mean, massive. I would love to find that stuff out, but they don't want us to know. Here, look at that. Like carving this out of the rock to make this temple.
That's an incredible undertaking.
Yeah, absolutely. So 10 incredible ancient structures carved out of solid rock. So, and I'm not saying that our recent ancestors couldn't have done it, but like that, how long would that have taken? That is out
of bronze chisel.
Right. That is out of a month. And the detail. I mean, the detail. I've seen this in different pictures. This one, unbelievable. And like some of the ones that they dug out in China, massive cave systems with this weird, like, I don't know, mark from almost like a shovel or something digging it out. None of the material is still there. Like all the material that was dug out is nowhere to be found. Like who the hell did that? You know? Things like this, I could believe over millennia they could have done. I mean, just look, that's impressive, you know, being the Buddha, but who's to say that face isn't a different carving because it looks a lot newer and fresher than anything else around it.
Yeah, Sphinx, anyone?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is the Kailasa temple in India. It's just unbelievable what they did.
That's gorgeous.
And they said it is the 16th rock cutout temple and the largest one of all in the Ellora caves. So there's 16 others. And they are trying to say it was
all done with bronze, guys.
Yeah. It was done in the dynasty about, you know, the 7th century BC. Okay. No, common era. So it's AD. So this wasn't that long ago. They were able to do this.
They had iron. Okay.
Yeah. This one in Ethiopia. This one in Ethiopia, I've always thought was amazing too.
Wow.
Look at the edges. They're perfect, right? You know, almost perfect angles.
I'm not trying to discount human ingenuity, but like you were talking about the working marks, like from the clips that I saw of the one tunnel in Egypt, you know, you can see the circular motion of a tool being used to carve out this, you know, this tunnel wall.
Yeah.
Like they weren't supposed to have that technology then, or what was that technology?
Right. Yeah, dude. You wonder like how they were able to perform these things. But they never let us know. You know, they never, you know, they'll give us something, and if you question it, they think you're a kook.
Scott, it's a chisel. It was a bronze chisel, or in one case, an iron chisel. That's what did all that amazing work.
Just iron, man. That stuff is brittle. I mean, it's great. It works so awesome. Here's some other megaliths around the world that maybe people have not seen. And we'll just look at this and maybe call it a night. My voice is like dropping out on me. I don't know which one this was, but these are usually
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Me either. You got excavators everywhere, but just look at, I don't know where the hell that is. Somewhere cold. Maybe?
That's like Star Wars looking, you know, at the temple where Baby Yoda's, you know, piling up shit. Yeah.
His name's Grogu, not Baby Yoda. My God.
Yes, I know.
I don't even watch the show.
Don't you have a plushie?
I do. It's right next to my bed, next to my Winnie the Pooh.
This one is from Iceland. Why have I never heard of this one?
That's amazing.
Me neither.
This one's a Bronze Age. Bronze Age, the Vikings. You letting you know, pre-Viking ship.
What does that say? Oh, wait, that's a ship. Sorry, I thought that's a weird writing.
Yep.
I thought it was like, aye.
All right, this one's a 5,000-year-old forgotten megalith in Spain. We have something like this in the Northeast. They call it American Stonehenge. Oh, yeah. That's definitely a megalith. Look at the size. I mean, those rocks are huge, and just to be able to prop them up on each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's not mega. I wouldn't. I mean, it's a mini lift.
It's the weight.
Megalith, mini lift.
Yeah, I think over a ton. Wow.
The bronze step stool.
That is so amazing.
Look at that in Ireland.
Damn.
Now, but that is something I could see are more recent, using these smaller stones to make something like that. But then you look at the archway, and it says massive stone. Crazy. This is Malta. I think has a lot of things that no one's looking at. You have different, like, it looks like even different groups made these things because of this, like, massive stones just kind of put on each other, and then these precision ones.
Right. Like a later civilization came and added.
Stonehenge, of course.
My son got
let's
to
not
go
for-
there on a senior trip in high school.
That's
His
awesome.
I'm jealous.
He has AP statistics class. Went to London, and Stonehenge was one of the places they visited.
That's awesome. Bali in Indonesia, carved right out of the rock.
Imagine the amount of math you would need in order to know exactly,
Right.
how much to.
Can you imagine? Oh, the chip and it cracks half of it. Oh, son of a bitch.
Exactly. Like, damn, Dave, I told you, don't come to work hungover.
Some interesting stuff, man. Any last stuff to talk about, my friends? My voice is going.
No, pretty much good.
Yeah, not that I can think of. I think I'm spent for today.
Yeah, me too. We will do maybe some more stuff in the ancient world next week.
Cool.
But until then, what do you got? Anything, Walton, to talk about?
Check out. I got Rogue Entertainment next week on Dragonstorm. And that's about it. Check out my Lowdowns at Dragonstorm Instagram and TikTok if you're interested in being educated on or are a survivor of narcissistic abuse. And if you happen to need some help on your healing journey, I am a recovery coach. So reach out to me if you'd like, or Sean K. Howerton or Coach Randy White, both excellent people. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you.
Nice, man. Tina or Grant?
I got nothing going on but work and sporking stuff. So,
Thank you, buddy. Oh, Jane.
Nice.
For $2, Jane Theory. It's as if we forgot a chunk of human history. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we will
Don't
be
worry,
talking about
the government will fill us in on what happened.
that.
yeah.
Thanks, man. Grant?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a stream with Mad pretty soon about the first episode of From season 3. So,
Oh, From. Yeah, I heard that's good.
Yeah, if you get a chance, definitely watch it, but make sure you watch it alone by yourself at night and have your totem ready.
Thank you,
What
buddy.
channel is From on? I've heard about it.
It's ABC, right?
Originally was on Epics, but then I'm not too sure where it's on now. So,
ABC. I thought it was on
I'll look for
Apple.
it.
yeah, I don't know what it is for you Yankees, but yeah, over here it's on a thing called Stan.
Grant, when I need lotion and or baby oil while watching this.
No, you just use your tears for lubrication. You'll be right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Be
you.
a man.
I like that.
Appreciate it.
And also next week, before the stream, I'm going to try over on YouTube to do a members stream where you can even bring some topics if you want to talk about what we should do on the show that night. But while I'm getting ready for the show, we'll do a member stream where I think I can have up to 10 people join me and we'll just BS and bullshit. So finally do something for my members. All right. Thank you guys. I hope you all have a good night. I'm going to get some sleep and hopefully tomorrow's a better day for everybody. Peace out.
Now this outro feels like you're trying to re-traumatize me, Scott. I've been through enough.
I want it to hurt.
Aluminum Spork.